Hey preppers, lots of interesting things happening over the last 24 hours. I'm going to start off with talking about the 911 system and what we can look at that. But we're also going to talk about there's lots of speculation and rumors flying, but there's some real stuff happening too. Stay to the end. You want to see what's happening. Let's jump into the first couple articles, then we'll get to the other stuff after. So we have to address this, even though a lot of people are saying this is not a big deal. 911 outages reported Wednesday night in 4 states after being restored hours later: Nebraska, Nevada, South Dakota, and Texas. The first thing, as preppers, we should take a lesson from this, that we can't depend on 911. We can't depend on emergency services, hospitals, EMTs, all those things. We want to use them when they're available, but you can't always depend on them being available. But that's not the speculation. That's not what's happening here. It's a learning lesson for us. Let's jump more into this. And this is just another article, by the way. Widespread 911 outages hit 4 states. And here's what you need to look at. At least 4 states experienced widespread 911 service outages on Wednesday evening. Most of the services were later restored, yet it remains unclear as to what caused the interruptions. Listen very carefully to what they're saying. Oh, hey, 911 services in these 4 states is down. We don't know why they went down, but now it's back up again. Things don't just randomly fix themselves. So if there's actually a problem going on there and trying to investigate the problem, then suddenly it comes back up again. Somebody or something took it down. It's not like a failure because some transformer blows out, for example. The transformer isn't going to fix itself and everything's back up again. So what is happening here? This comes on the heels from another article that says the 911 services shut down just as the government was warning of cyber threats of 911 possibly going down. Police officials in multiple states reported 911 service outages and interruptions Wednesday night. Yep. Just after a cyber attack warning from DHS was reported by ABC News. So I think we can read between the lines. And that's kind of like the moral of what's going on with this video, because we see a lot of things happening. It's all happening right now. Stuff right before our eyes, but unless you know where to look, you'd never see it. For example, it's all over. So many articles about 911 going down. I really had to search for this article that says, we don't know why. And then even further saying, oh yeah, by the way, Homeland Security said that we're actually under threat of cyber attacks for 911 services. Again, you need to be able to prepare yourself for this in the future, but that's not the point. The point is this. On this channel, I really strive to put out good information for you. That is kind of like my mission statement for Goshen prepping. It's all about helping you and helping me too, by the way, because you never know it better unless you teach. Plus, there's a lot of really good people out there who know their information too. We share ideas and stuff. It's a great thing to have. And that's what I try to put out. Now, I've had people complain that sometimes your thumbnails and titles are a little bit, their words, clickbaity. But here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like that. But if I simply put, hey, check out this video, or whatever the reason, there'll be like 500 people look at it. And for some reason, when it comes to mankind, they don't want to watch these videos unless there's something like that. So it's just the nature of the beast. I'm sorry it's that way. But don't get hung up, and this is what the problem is, don't get hung up on the thumbnails and the titles. Notice my videos always give you clear, level-headed information, and that's the key. That's the key. It's not fear-mongering. I love to say this. You go onto a flight somewhere. I'm going to fly to, let's go to Hawaii. That sounds fun. You get on the plane. The flight attendant says, okay, guys, in case the plane crashes, she's not fear-mongering. She's letting you know, hey, you need to pay attention because sometimes these planes crash. You need to take your seatbelt and do that. Oh, no, she's fear-mongering. No, she's not. She's trying to help you. In case there's a water landing, there's a water vest underneath your, oh, no, don't tell me about that. You're fear-mongering. No. She didn't make it up. She didn't cause the plane to crash. She's not causing all these things to happen. She's just trying to help you. And that is the purpose of Goshen prepping. Now, that is not the purpose of this video. I'm going to put out some more information about things that have transpired in the last 24 hours that most people don't know about. And I'll even tell you, by the way, I'll always say, look, this is what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, the way I get the information, I can't give it to you and show you how it was. I'm still trying to help you. She's not giving you evidence on a piece of paper that says, well, here, look, 9 out of 10 airplanes don't crash, but 1 out, she's not giving you the data. You just have to take her word for it that sometimes planes crash. Sometimes I put out information. Sometimes you'll just have to take my word for it. And if you don't believe me, then fine, don't believe me. Shut that video up. I don't care. But I really try to scrutinize any information coming in. Then there's sometimes I get information and I'll even say, listen, this is just speculation. And sometimes I'll even give my opinion worth 2 cents. I think this is why this is happening. And I even say, what do you think? Is that your opinion too? Because again, you're a community. That's what we do. So with that in mind, I need to bring out some other things that's happened in the last 24 hours. But you're going to have a lot of people who will say, oh, you don't know, you don't know. Well, you know what? The information I actually have brought in tells me that there's something here. Just like, you know what? It's no coincidence that 911 went down right after Homeland Security announced it. I think you can put two and two together. That's exactly what we're happening here. So the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of countries, and our military is on high alert in specific areas, specifically our nuclear areas. Again, we talked about this a few days ago. I put out some emergency messages to you. It's all about helping you. Hey guys, you even heard me. You might want to put yourself in your Faraday cage. We don't know what's happening here, this and this. And I even talked about a ballistic missile being shot down. And that was true. That was not speculation. Did I give you evidence? I can't always give evidence. You know what? You don't believe it? I don't care. I'm here to help you. If you don't take the information, you know what? Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I don't really care. But we've been seeing lots of things happening in the last 24 hours, especially over the night, which of course out in the Middle East is the middle of their day. We've seen numerous refuelers going up in the air. And we're talking about emergency action messages too. Lots of emergency action messages. When we talk about this, we're talking about specifically information put out on our military. We have I'll stress again, nuclear forces all around the world, and they send these emergency action messages typically on the frequency 8.995 kilohertz. They also do it on 11.175 kilohertz, but I don't usually listen to that one. But I want to stress that these two frequencies are not for drills. They're not for training. And when I put these messages out earlier, people are like, oh, it must be a drill. No, they don't do drills on these ones. In fact, one of the things even said by the military on this frequency last night was, guys, is this a drill? I need confirmation. Is this a drill? Is this real? He was even just confirming, because we don't do drills on those frequencies. The military uses completely different frequencies when they do training and drills. To keep that in mind. So I want to show you this real quick. This is simply from Wikipedia to help you understand. An emergency action message is a military strategic nuclear weapon or nuclear command and control system. An emergency action message is a pre-formatted message that directs nuclear-capable forces. The purpose: to execute major attack options or limited attack options in a nuclear war. So I want to say again, there was a lot of emergency action messages going out last night. But listen, just because there's an emergency action message doesn't mean that they're dropping a nuclear bomb. It doesn't mean that at all. In fact, these EAMs happen all the time, every day. So trying to keep things clear, they do happen often. But last night was interesting. There were so many of them. That's what we're seeing, by the way. Since all this stuff is happening with Israel and Iran, we're seeing these EAMs double or even triple the amount during the day. I shouldn't say during the day, during 24 hours. There's lots and lots of them going out. In fact, at one point last night, they put out practically 20 of these in about a 20-minute mark. So one a minute, just flash traffic flying back and forth. Lots of things happening. So what's happening? We don't know. I mean, I would love to be able to decipher their codes, but they have codes for a reason, so you don't know what's going on. But there are some things we need to know. When you hear this traffic going across, they'll use the military phonetic alphabet, give out these long codes that direct specific nuclear places to do whatever they need to do. We don't know what that is. We can only speculate. And you'll hear something that says like November, Papa, Quebec, Charlie, Charlie, 9 or 4. And it'll simply just read off these numbers and letters. And we don't know what it means. You'll never know what it means unless you're one of those high-level, confidential people. It's not even just classified, guys. You know, there's classified, secret, top secret. There's above top secret. There's need to know. There's lots of things like that. So even if you're out in the military and you have a top secret clearance, doesn't mean you still know what these codes are. You don't know. And so to obtain the ability to know what these codes are, you really have to be trustworthy in the military to show you're not going to give those codes out, obviously. Does it happen? Yeah, but they usually catch those people and, of course, put them in prison for espionage. So with that in mind, I'll stress it again. On Goshen Prepping, I try to keep you informed of what's happening. When I see emergency action messages, I will tell you right off the bat, we don't know what they are. We specifically see this stuff happening, then we can actually watch news areas. By the way, when we saw that ballistic missile shot down the other day from an arrow before the big attack in Israel, it was on the news agencies, some of them, and then with a minute, they took it down, and it went down quickly. Not to mention, I saw photographs of an arrow being shot. So keep that in mind. Why can't I prove it to you? Because I don't have recordings of those news articles. So again, believe me or not. But nevertheless, we see a lot of stuff going across, stuff that's classified. We don't know what it's saying. I try to tell you what I know. I try to even sometimes give my opinion. I try to actually discuss things with you. I'll tell you sometimes when I don't know. And what I don't know is I don't know what these messages are. There just happens to be a lot of messages directing our nuclear forces. That should be enough to alarm you. It alarms me. I didn't say panic. I didn't say go crazy, but alarming. Now, I will tell you this. There are other channels going out telling you that, oh, they put the emergency launch codes on that flash traffic. No, you don't know that. You don't know that. Stop speculating. Because here's the thing. If somebody tells him, I mean, I won't say who the channel is. That's not the point here. But the person said, oh, it's nuclear launch codes. And apparently maybe somebody said, oh, I've got a friend in the military who told me those are nuclear launch codes. No, they didn't. Because any person who knows those codes has that clearance, and they're just going to give it to some YouTube channel and said, hey, put that out, they're nuclear launch codes. By the way, where are the launches? We haven't seen that happening. And even other parts, people talked about, we're in DEFCON 2. I've talked about in the past, DEFCONs is absolutely classified. Now, when we hit the different DEFCONs, defense conditions, by the way, heading toward nuclear war, you can see some of the different types of military doing certain actions, which make you think, oh, hey, to see the military moved here, all the different steps. We know what happens during the DEFCONs, and it's kind of happening. And if the person came out and said, I speculate, I think we might be in DEFCON 2, as long as they words, I speculate, I wonder, I'm curious, what do you think? That makes sense. But when the channel tells you, we're at DEFCON 2, you need to understand this. And I talked about this like a year ago. I said, guys, I think we might be in DEFCON 2 because we're seeing this and this. And people got so up in arms and said, oh, that's classified. I know it's classified. Of course it's classified. But you can still see the effects from it happening. We're not even seeing those effects from happening for DEFCON 2. I'm not saying we're not there. But the thing is, there is no proof that there was any type of launch codes. There is no proof that we're in DEFCON 2. We need to focus on what we focus on. And that's simply put, we need to prep. We need to prepare. There is something happening, something big, in my opinion, when we talk about so many emergency action messages going across, all this nuclear stuff happening. It's all nuclear. That's not speculation. When you see these things on these channels, it's nuclear. It's being put out. At the same time, we see 911 going down just when we were warned from Homeland Security that, oh, by the way, 911 may go down because of a cyber attack. It's interesting as we see this nuclear stuff happening, we see 911 going down. You got to make connections. I mean, if you say there's nothing there, then say there's nothing there. I get that. But what we do is we try to look at the intelligence. We try to look at the chatter. I've talked about chatter for the past couple of years. Some of the chatter is actually listening to these military frequencies. It's a really fun thing to do. I really enjoy it. You have to have a pretty decent shortwave to make it happen, though, and that's why I don't really talk about it, because like my little radios, emergency radios have shortwave, but not these frequencies. But anyways, I'll always keep you posted, and that's the point, everybody. You know, I always err on the side of caution. We think something's happened nuclear, maybe put the stuff in the Faraday cage. And if you see anybody else saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, stuff like that, those people are just trying to cause problems. I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to put out stuff. The channels that tell you we're at DEFCON 2 or codes are being crossed, you know, the actual nuclear launch codes, they're not trying to get people to help you out. They're trying to scare the crap out of you. That is fear-mongering, and I would turn those channels off because that's not good. That's not good. You're putting out information you don't know. Anyways, guys, so a little food for thought for you. Some interesting things happening over the last couple of days. And of course, I will tell you, as I learn more, if it's something that's going to possibly affect you and me, I hear stuff all the time. I don't put it out because this channel is about preparedness. If I hear something that's going to affect you and me, I will certainly put a video out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.